Okay, well, hi, it's Anton here. I can't believe it's been 7 months since I've last done an update for this channel. And I guess so much has happened that it's like hard to figure out where to begin in giving an update. And there's so many things that I would like to talk about that I've kind of got stuck in creating this next video. So I'm just going to give an update and maybe save some of the deeper discussions for separate videos, and just like try and get back into this again. So it's been 14 months since I started Botox treatment. I guess it's been something like 2 years since I first had my very first symptoms of cervical dystonia. It's been about 4 weeks since my last Botox treatment. And so I'm saying a lot about Botox because I guess that has been the mainstay of my treatment in trying to deal with the motor symptoms of this disorder. And I would say this far into it, after 5 treatments, I'm seeing benefits from that. So, if I turn square to the camera, you can see that I can get my head reasonably close to the midline now. And that is still quite tiring for me to do, to hold it to that point. So I'm still working a bit to get my head towards that midline. But there's been times in the past where it wasn't even possible to get to that point. So that's an improvement. I still can't look to the right. And I still, when I relax, I tend to look even more to the left and down. So that would be my sort of comfortable position that I would be in most of the time, and sometimes a little more to the left. But the consequence of being in this kind of position is that I think the biggest thing I'm aware of is that I'm looking down at the ground, and I'm not taking in a whole lot of the world. I'm not looking at the sky and the tops of the trees, and I'm not looking at anything to the right. And I think people, when they don't have this sort of problem, they're they're looking all around all the time. Whereas I have this very narrow view on the world, which is just this little piece, and there's another 180 degrees of stuff out there and up there, which I'm just not seeing. So apart from all of the, the discomfort and the pain and those kinds of things, I feel like long term, one of the impacts that I've become aware of is just how I'm missing like a whole pile of the view of the world, right? So I'm only seeing a much smaller slice of it, and it's even changing my kind of mental map of the world. I think, like, we'll drive to places with me as the passenger because I still can't drive, and I don't have a good sense of my surroundings because I'm just not doing that looking around and taking stuff in. I'm just only seeing a little piece of it. Similar kinds of things happen like with eating and things like that. So, I'm still feel uncomfortable and awkward going into a cafe or something like that, but I'll try to do it as often as I can to overcome that discomfort. But when I'm looking at a menu versus someone else looking at the menu, someone might go, wow, look at this menu. There's 40 different things to choose from. And I'm scanning down that menu and going, where's the thing that I can hold in my hands and not have to use a knife and fork? Because that's very often hard to do without, being messy about it. So I'm just going to get the hamburger or whatever the thing is that I can pick up with my hand. That's fine. I like hamburgers, but the the result of that is like I'm missing 90% of the options, and my whole kind of, you know, ability to enjoy the variety of life, I suppose, is like compressed down to this little segment of it. Um, and I guess that, you know, I mean, obviously things can be worse, and there's worse problems, but day after day, week after week, these kinds of things start becoming noticeable, I think, because you need variety and you need to be able to mix things up a bit. But when your life is actually being forced into this smaller box in so many different ways, then I suppose it's a bit depressing emotionally as well. So just that's just from the kind of physical limitation of having my head sort of limited in its range of movement. Okay. The Botox has had some benefit, like I said, and with improvement, with that improvement from the Botox has come some improvement in the pain as well, because the muscles are fighting each other less aggressively, I suppose. So that's a good thing, but I still have pain, and it's still, by the end of the day, it builds up. There's a way that I can have almost no pain, and that's just to lie around and do nothing. So I can lie down, and I can, if my head is supported by a pillow, slightly turned to the side, all that weight is off my neck, and it's relaxing, but I don't think it's much of a life to stay lying down all the time and not doing anything else. So the more I kind of push things, the more I go, okay, I'll try and get out to the shops or something like that, or I'll try and do some, repair around the house. The more I do that, the more by the end of the day, I'm in quite severe pain, and it's pain not just in my neck, but across my whole back. And it's, all these other muscles which are trying to compensate and help fight this muscle spasm. And another thing is, I guess, sleep issues are a constant problem. Most nights I'll have trouble getting comfortable and getting to sleep, and I take painkillers and things to help me get to sleep, and those feel pretty necessary for me. So that's a kind of update with where I'm at the moment. The previous Botox treatment that I had before Christmas, around November, I had about 4 or 5 weeks after that where things felt much worse. So I felt worse after my treatment than before the treatment. I had significantly more pain, and it's hard to know why exactly that was. It seems to me like a bit of there really is an art to the treatment and the placement of the injections, and I always feel like it's a bit of a lucky dip. What sort of results I'm going to get, what sort of side effects and pain that I might get from the treatment itself. Thankfully, the most recent treatment I had was much better than the previous treatment, so I've had more benefit, far less side effects, and I'm happy about that. It was really interesting with this last treatment that my neurologist who was doing the treatment gave me something that we know of in Australia as the green whistle. It's used by paramedics and first aid responders. It's like a very short acting inhalant anesthetic analgesic agent, which you breathe in, and it's sort of a bit like nitrous oxide, and it makes you feel more calm. It reduces your pain, um, relaxes you a little bit, and it only lasts for something like 20 minutes or something like that. You can still walk and talk and all of that. I felt that was a brilliant addition to the treatment to take away some of the pain and stress of the whole thing. Some people don't find the treatment to be stressful or painful. I've had some which have been very painful, and therefore subsequent treatments have been more stressful in anticipation of that pain. So this was really good, and I think more doctors should consider doing something like that. Okay, so I'll wrap this up. I think there's a bunch of things that I want to do future videos on. I really want to talk more about non-motor symptoms and identity and the psychological aspects of cervical dystonia, because those, I've talked about them before, but those things are huge, I think, with probably with any chronic incapacitating illness, which is really introducing a disability into your life. It's not an illness, you know, it's a disorder which is going to be hanging around for a long time, changing your life in some fairly dramatic ways, depending on the severity of your symptoms. And if you're going to have that happen, then it's going to create lots of changes and mean you have to adapt to those changes and seriously figure out how to reinvent your identity under those circumstances. So I want to talk about that more in a separate video, because that's some of the challenge that I really face. But that'll do for now, I think, and thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.